The gang stalkers protect the interests of the Freemasons, the Illuminati, to make sure they stay in power. Okay, when you set the nothing but corruption and lies that is in that position, they're gonna come after those individuals, and then they train and they have a counter. I already talked about counterfeit society before. Those people get initiated, become to become gang stalkers. They signed a little contract, and then they sign their freedom away. That I personally believe they signed their freedom away because it's suspect. And then there's way too many indications that prove that the gang stalkers, once they by choice, the individual citizens by choice become gang stalkers, their freedom is taken away because listen, just listen. If they use, since they use remote neural monitoring, and they can see everything that's in your head, right? And then they know, okay, this person is innocent, that person is not innocent. If they know that you're innocent, why they continue to do the things that they do? So I know that the gang stalkers are not. They can't. I don't think they're really free. Even when you when target individuals confront the gang stalkers and say, "Why are you doing this to me?" And then the gang stalkers just give target individuals a little bit of truth here and there, and then there's a little bit of misleading information when they do impart information to target individuals. They're not gonna let them know everything, and then there's target individuals who say something about how gang stalkers get gang stalked, and I really do believe that. And then they know way too much information. What happens if the gang stalker is really telling target individuals the real truth? You gotta think about it. Why wouldn't they? Because if there was a gang stalker that told me the truth, it would not be betrayed as something lighthearted or a little bit flaky or anything like that. Because the effects, the psychological, emotional effects, and the spiritual effects that it has on the target individuals way much more significant than that. Since when they use um, um, certain type of triggers and tactics, methods to get target individuals to commit suicide and also to bully them up out of existence because they don't even want that person to live anymore because the Freemason government says, okay, we're going to send a group of individuals after the individuals just to make their life hell. Okay, so they send them out there, and then all they do is just bully them all day long. Okay, and they have connections with the Freemasons. And how do I know this? Okay, you have some gang stalkers who throw up a satanic sign. That happened here in Augusta, Georgia. They threw up the satanic sign, and they think nobody ain't gonna find that out. Back to the point. And so technically, if they was to impart some information to target individuals, the stories would be way much more horrifying than that because you have to connect what happens to target individuals to on par with what happens to or what happens when a gang stalker uses one of those tactics. They're not even revealing to target individuals what type of electronic technologies and the name of the electronic technologies to the target individuals. Why they're not telling the target individuals about that? Why they gotta act all scared and jump like that, or something's gonna happen. They seem a little bit paranoid and stuff. Looking around the corner and stuff, just to see if somebody listening to what they're saying, because they know that gang stalkers are some chameleon like type of people. They use blending tactics, and then they try to make it seem like they didn't do it, and then they just reappear and be like, "Here I am," and then they just assault target individuals up on a day-to-day basis. Every time when they step outside of the house, or when they're in the house, when they use voice to skull up on a person, and then they try to maximize trauma every time when the person step out of the house and stuff to get the target individual to remember the psychological trauma and damage that they want to maximize to the extreme to cause the target individuals to give up in life and to commit suicide, because that's one of their purposes. So they are murderers. And so they say, okay, they betray the target individuals as criminals, but the criminals come up out of jail, and then they give some of those criminals a pass. And then you have people who promote these criminals and exalt this type of stuff. Homosexuality is not something a person is just born into existence as a homosexual. They're not. They never was homosexuals. Homosexuality, everything is bred. Okay, homosexuality is bred as well. They set up people to become homosexuals. It is not an investigation upon crime. Okay, this is a fake investigation. This is a counterfeit, because they see everything that goes on in the person's head. They have all that information that is stored up inside their own brains, and then they did the most. They accuse the target individual of doing something that they have done, and so the gang stalkers accuse the target individuals of doing something that the gang stalkers have done, and yet maybe somebody should actually do the same thing to the gang stalkers, what they're doing to the target individuals. Where is the target individual's justice? Okay. So the gang stalkers have a lot of evil stuff that's going around in their head, and they're not telling people the maximum truth, everything. Okay, if they really was truthful, and if they was really telling the truth, they don't come out clean. You see what I'm saying? Out with the truth, and tell the target individuals the name of the electronic technologies, what type of methods that they use, who they're connected with, who's behind it. The Freemasons are behind it. Why do you do this? Why do you personally do this? I know you have signed up, and you do this because somebody you willfully become a gang stalker, and do this little community watch or something like that. Why do you personally do it? Okay, I know it's a job, as far as what gang stalkers say. Why do you personally do it? But they don't say, they don't personally get themselves involved. There's no indications. There's a lot of things about gang stalkers that give them away. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of indications, a lot of red flags and stuff about these gang stalkers, and they don't want to let these target individuals know the maximum extreme amount of truth about the evil that they have done in the United States of America. They're the ones who even rock with the news media and try to perpetuate and execute crime in the United States of America in order for the government and the news media to make money. That's what they do. And I have personally have experienced gang stalker talking to the news media, so I know it's a little bit something more than that. I don't know if there's any other target individual that's out there other than me. I guess it's just only me. And I have had a person from ABC News and Fox News. Let me see if I remember. MSN, MSNBC, HL, CBS. Well, not CBS. HLN. And then these individuals try to hold a fake conversation, and they respond to target individuals such as myself through the TV. You see what I'm saying? And then they have, and it's a few more other target individuals out there, and then they just have this conversation with through the TV and everything, and then they try to mentally manipulate people. Okay, and I even experienced voice to skull. Apple Valley, when I was living in Apple Valley, okay, and I know that it's a little bit more to it than that. You see what I'm saying? So I know the news media is involved in this, and the news media is owned by the White House. Okay, it is owned by the White House. So the White House, who own the White House? I know the Freemasons own the White House. Got to, all right. the Freemasons own the CIA. Everything is triangulated right back to the CIA. FBI is owned by them. Where do they get their money from? Where do they get their money from? Up on a centralized level, it comes from the very same individuals who give the right. That I think the banks are end up on it as well. Centralized, who give or who give orders for someone to produce that much money. And those individuals, the Bilderbergs, Rockefellers, Skull and Bones, Boule, cap and gowns, solar questers, Jesuits, Roman Crucians, I think that's what they're called, and so many others. The Illuminati individuals inside the United States of America and outside of the United States of America, and and they make so much money. They make so much money. They go up over there at the Bohemian Grove, up over there, California, and they commit sodomy. They have sodomy sex up over there at the Bohemian Grove, and you have a bunch of Satanists, and you know that these individuals are the very same individuals who are responsible for initiating a secret undercover society, and then have those individuals come after the target individuals to harass them all day long, because the Freemason individuals already have admitted that people are a threat to themselves, and the Freemasons already actually feel like they're threatened by people. You see what I'm saying? And they suppress information. Same individuals who are responsible for setting up a new world order and creating a electronic system to suppress information, and this is part of their goal. The scientists are pumping out so much electronic technologies. RFID chips is made by scientists. By the way, the RFID chip is not the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is something else, but it's not RFID chips, because it is manufactured and produced by people. But like I actually said before, these scientists have created RFID chips, and the RFID chips, they're going to try to put the RFID chips in every person to enslave everybody, and everybody is going to become slaves. And this is going to be up on a global level. You see what I'm saying? They have electronic sensory technology that senses when you step out of line, okay? And then they're going to have a type of electronic that assassinates people. And they already have assassin electronic technologies. That is on the way. They even have technologies that's so small you barely can see it. They was talking about making the robotic insects and stuff, and so many other stuff. Okay, and they into some weird stuff. I have seen it all way back in the day, 2012 and 13. That when I have collected all those videos on my YouTube channel, which was Trilla969, and lost the whole thing because of a crazy psychopathic individual by the name of Sunshine on Raw, and I had to destroy my my YouTube channel. I had many YouTube channels. You know, so far overall, it is a maximum of 4. And I still have a good decent amount of those videos, you know, about the electronics and stuff. They even have alchemy that they have used to produce artificial gold. The scientists have, you can look it up, the scientists have produced and made these electronic technologies. I'm sorry, the RFID chips is what I meant to say. And that's the origins of where the RFID chips have come from. Okay? But this is all a part of the Freemasons' New World Order. And then the electronics is suspect. And the electronics is triangulated right back around to the Freemasons, who gave order to produce these types of electronics. And therefore they dish them out into the military to be used.